Hello and welcome to Kilkenny. mBan is the pinnacle of the Irish women's cycle racing calendar, as the best Irish riders test themselves against international opposition. For some, the goal is simply to complete the event, and for a select few, the goal is victory on some of the most challenging roads in South Leinster.
Hopes, dreams are to win, obviously, for the week. Get a stage win would be really nice, and to get some Irish jerseys on the podium, and yeah, get a first Irish rider over the line for the first time in a while. So that's the big goal.
4, 3, 2, 1, on the way.
The weather may have been less than cooperative, but that didn't dampen the spirits of the 105-rider peloton which assembled at the Hoban Hotel in Kilkenny for the first stage of Ros na Mban 2022. Ahead of them was a 74.2-kilometre stage, including 2 finishing loops of a 13-kilometre circuit in Callan. There was just one Wicklow 200 Queen of the Mountains climb for the riders to contend with, and Britain's Danny Shrewsbury of mBan had the strength to take the points and scoop the first orange jersey of the 5-day 6-stage event. Callan played host to a group sprint on its first appearance 12 months ago, and the likelihood of a repeat increased as a large peloton heard the bell with 1 lap remaining. The Irish team did much of the legwork to ensure a bunch finish, and it was their sprinter Lara Gillespie who burst off the wheel of Eve McChrystal with 200 metres remaining to overhaul Tiffany Keep of LDN Brother UK and Jessica Finney of mBan on the uphill drag to the line. Gillespie's win ended an 8-year victory drought for Irish riders in Ros na Mban and comes after a recent return to action in the velodrome for the Wicklow rider following a long layoff due to illness.
This means so much. I was a bit emotional like 30 seconds after the finish. I was like, I didn't think I'd be here even like a month or 2 months ago. I'm just still building back my fitness and my strength. So yeah, this one kind of touches my heart a bit.
When did you know you had it?
I didn't really, because I was always like, oh, is there someone coming up behind me? I thought I left it a little bit too late, and then yeah, I literally knew as I went across the line.
Pretty good teamwork. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, incredible teamwork. We're so lucky with the team that we have here. Everyone's really positive and working, and this was our plan today, to go for the sprint, and we executed it perfectly. Kelly, Linda, Eve, all on the front, like 5k to go. We were in our perfect line, and we just stayed strong and held our own. And yeah, it means a lot that we all did our jobs right and got over the line first.
What was it like in the last kilometre or so? Tell us what that was like.
It was intense, yeah. I just was focusing, stay on Eve's wheel, and Eve was on Kelly's wheel, and yeah, it was really just making sure I was in that top 5 and top 3 as I went around that corner. It was intense, but I think in control, and I knew exactly what to do after going through the course a few times, so I felt confident.
Kate Richardson of Team Alba followed Gillespie across the line, with Finney completing the podium ahead of teammate Madeleine Leach. The Kilkenny County Council Best Irish Rider jersey goes to Caoimhe O'Brien, while Gillespie takes the JustSprint.ie stage winners jersey, to which were added the lead of the Women's Commission Young Rider and Sport Ireland points classifications. Gillespie also leads overall and will carry the magenta overall leaders jersey into battle on the demanding and hilly second stage from Kilkenny to Inistioge and on to the finishing climb to Woodstock House and Gardens. Weather conditions were once again challenging for the riders on stage 2 of Ros na Mban as they prepared for an 88-kilometre ride to Inistioge and a first-time finish in the scenic surroundings of Woodstock House and Gardens. Stage 1 winner Lara Gillespie started the day in the magenta jersey, and her Team Ireland squad faced significant opposition from 19 riders who were level on time with the Wicklow woman at the beginning of the day. As the 100-rider peloton raced through Stonyford, Knocktofer and Thomastown towards Inistioge, the lead group dwindled in size, a combination of the elements and the grippy roads turning it into a race of attrition. Wicklow 200 Queen of the Mountains leader Danny Shrewsbury of mBan was on target as she crested the rise of the Covenant to tighten her grip on the mountains classification. Over the top of the hill with 18 kilometres to go, Dutchwoman Lieke van Zelst, riding in the colours of Greenman Cycling Academy this week, tried her luck with a speculative solo effort, and the former triathlete opened up a 44-second lead on the approach to Inistioge and the vicious ramp towards the finish. Her bravery rewarded, Van Zelst felt the gradient ease in the final kilometre, and with it, her worries about converting her narrow advantage into a breakthrough international racing success. She was followed in just 10 seconds later by Kate Richardson, with Danny Shrewsbury leading in the remains of the chase group for third. Behind, Gillespie finished 16th on the day to slip to 15th overall, 34 seconds behind the new leader. It was joy unbound as Van Zelst celebrated afterwards. Even she had had her doubts when she got the first time check on the road.
When I heard it was just 22 seconds, I was like, okay, this is never gonna happen, but yeah, you're gone anyway, so just go and see what you've got. So until I saw the finish line, I wasn't expecting it would really happen. So I was like, wow, this is happening to me.
Have you thought about the course tomorrow? It's got a big climb at the finish, summit finish.
Yeah, I'm happy it's some climbing again, so it won't be a end sprint, a massa sprint. So I think that's good. Good. So rest my legs and go for it, I think.
Van Zelst was joined on the JustSprint.ie stage winners podium by Kate Richardson and Danny Shrewsbury, while breakout Ulster rider Amelia Tyler took over the lead of the Kilkenny County Council Best Irish Rider classification. And Danny Shrewsbury has increased her lead in the Wicklow 200 mountains competition. Kate Richardson's double of second place finishes means she leads the Women's Cycling Ireland Young Rider competition and will wear the Sport Ireland Blue Points jersey on stage 3. But it was Lieke van Zelst's bravery and strength which carried the day, and she holds a 5-second advantage over Richardson in the race for the magenta jersey as the riders contemplated the following day's summit finish on the cut in the Slieve Blues. After 2 days of rain, the riders of Rosnamon 2022 will have been less than delighted to open the curtains and see rain clouds gathering ahead of the mountainous third stage summit finish on the cut in County Laois. After losing the magenta leaders jersey on stage 2, Team Ireland clearly came with a plan to regain the initiative, and the green jerseys were much in evidence in the attacks on the approach to the Wolf Trap climb. That first climb of the stage was an important opportunity for Wicklow 200 Queen of the Mountains leader Danny Shrewsbury to extend her lead, but there was drama when the Cams Basso riders' derailleur hanger snapped. Onto the final climb of the day, 18 riders were still in contention, with race leader Lieke van Zelst of Greenman Cycling Academy confidently tracking her rivals in the fast dwindling lead group. There were 5 riders up front inside the final 3 kilometres, and it was these riders who contested the win. After 2 days of second place finishes, Kate Richardson of Team Alba Development was not to be denied at the third time of asking.
Yeah, I'm delighted to take the win today. I was refusing to come second there again. I wanted to make it third time lucky for sure, so nice to upgrade to gold this time.
Describe the last few kilometres.
Yeah, so again, the first half I was protected really well for my team today, just taking it really easy, and I knew that this part was going to be the key part after the first big climb, so I just sort of let Becky from Cams push on the pace a bit and just tried to cling onto her wheel because she's a really strong climber, and then with 200 to go just tried to leave it out there, and glad to take the win.
So what does this win mean to you?
Yeah, it means a lot, particularly for us being a new team as well. We're quite inexperienced, but I think we're holding our own pretty well against the bigger teams, so it's just really nice to get the name out there and really reflect on all the hard work that goes on behind the scenes in our performances, so yeah.
2 days to go, only 5 seconds between you and the race lead. What's the plan?
Yeah, it's still all definitely to play for. I think again, just protecting myself tomorrow, trying to come in near the front end again, and the crit and the TT should hopefully play into my hands a bit and try and make up a bit of time there, but definitely all still to play for.
And how do you go about attacking Lieke?
She's a great fighter. She's great at the climbing, and she's obviously a good all-rounder as well, so it's going to be a tough ask, but just try and trace her and see what I can do at the end.
Richardson finally mounted the top step of the podium in a JustSprint.ie stage winners jersey, where she was joined by second placed Alex Morris of LDN Brother UK and Becky Storey of Cams Basso. Richardson's remarkable consistency also delivered the lead of the Women's Cycling Ireland Young Rider, the Wicklow 200 Queen of the Mountains and the Sport Ireland points classifications. Amelia Tyler of Cycling Ulster retains a slightly reduced lead in the Kilkenny County Council Best Irish Rider classification. Lieke van Zelst finished 4th on the day in the wheel tracks of her general classification rivals to preserve her 5-second lead over Richardson in the race for the magenta jersey.
Lieke van Zelst, what an amazing defence of your lead. That's your first time in the experience of defending a jersey. How did you go about defending?
Yeah, it was really nice. We had set a plan before with our team, and I did just everything they asked from me, so I was really happy. And he said, just use your mind, think about what's smart, just take it easy and spare your legs for the climbs and be on the front. And that's what I did, and it was good. I didn't have to win, so I could just keep thinking about keep the wheel and don't give up. So
2 more days to go. What's the plan now?
yeah, the plan is keeping a jersey, of course, but yeah, I think I hope to do it the same way. I don't have to win, I just have to keep the jersey and take as many seconds as possible. So I'm really looking forward. Tomorrow will be the hardest day to keep the jersey, so hopefully my legs will help me tomorrow again.
Epic conditions and some wonderful performances there in the Slieve Blooms. Well, that's it for part 1. After the break, we've got the final 3 stages of Rosnaman, a road race, a time trial and a city centre criterium. Let's see how they get on after these. Welcome back to Kilkenny. The riders of Rosnaman headed to Pilltown on stage 4, with Lieke van Zelst holding a narrow 5-second lead over Kate Richardson with only 3 stages to go.
After 3 days of rain, stage 4 of Rosnaman was a mercifully dry 90-kilometre ride from Kilkenny to Pilltown, including 2 ascents of the sweep at Temple Oram. The peloton shrugged off weary legs in an all-action first half of the stage, featuring numerous attacks as they made their way to the 2 laps of the 20-kilometre finishing circuit at Pilltown on a parcours familiar to many Rosnaman veterans. A break of 4 had almost a minute in hand by the time they crossed the finish line for the first time with 40 kilometres to go, with Team Ireland's Eve McChrystal joined up front by Illy Bike Cycling Team's Hayley Fuller, NWVG U+ rider Rixt Hoagland and Maddie Leach of Cams Basso. The battle for the Wicklow 200 IVCA Queen of the Mountains was decided at Temple Oram, with Danny Shrewsbury taking top points on the first ascent to move back into the lead of the competition. There were almost 30 in the lead group taking the bell with 20 kilometres remaining, and the final categorised ascent of the week beckoned, where Kate Richardson crossed in 2nd place and ahead of Shrewsbury to snatch the climbing title at the death. Into the closing stages, Team Ireland's lead-out took control with Kelly Murphy and Eve McChrystal heading Lara Gillespie. Stage 1 winner Gillespie latched onto Cardinal Cycling's Alison Mrugal with 200 metres to go and didn't wait for a second invitation, powering up the finishing straight for her 2nd win of the week. A late bid for glory netted Ella McDermott's 2nd place and a rare 1-2 for Ireland, with Maddie Leach an impressive 3rd after her earlier breakaway exploits. For Gillespie, there was the satisfaction of converting the opportunity her team created into a 2nd victory of the week.
Final couple of kilometres, I mean, how was it playing out?
I just was hopped on Eve's wheel and Eve was on Kelly's wheel and we had a really good train. Everyone was trying to fight for Eve's wheel and get in front of me, but I just stayed really strong and just trusted that was the wheel that I need to be on. And then came in with about 500 to go and someone was about to go, and then I kind of waited, and then with about 200 to go, then I decided, okay, my time is now, and I put the head down. But I felt like it was almost like slow motion. I was like, am I in too hard a gear? And then I celebrated, and then I saw Ellen come past me and I was like, oh my goodness, did I just celebrate too early? But it was fine in the end.
What does it mean to you?
Oh, it means everything. Like, this year has been really tough. So I'm just happy I could do the team justice and do it proud, because everyone worked really well today, and I'm glad I could deliver when it mattered most.
Gillespie was joined by Ella McDermott and Maddie Leach on the stage winners podium, with Richardson and Van Zylst 4th and 7th on the day. Richardson's consistency nets her the young rider jersey and unassailable leads in the Sport Ireland points and Wicklow 200 mountains competitions, while Van Zylst holds a tenuous 5-second advantage overall heading to the final day. And so to the 5th and final day, and the weather forecast turned out to be depressingly accurate. The torrential rain which the riders faced for the technical 2.5 kilometre blast around the walls of Kilkenny Castle could not have been less welcome. After 4th and 3rd place finishes, Maddie Leach of Camsbassa was fired up for the win, and her 3-minute 34.62 second effort would send her to the hot seat for an extended stay. Lara Gillespie's bid for a hat-trick of stage wins was a concerted one, the track specialist at home over the distance, and she recorded a time just 1.8 seconds slower than Leach for what would turn out to be 3rd fastest on the day. Down to the final 4 riders, and Becky Story of Camsbassa knew she only had to be faster than Zoe Langham to move up to the general classification podium. Her 3 minutes and 49 seconds was good enough for 25th on the stage, and crucially it was 2.2 seconds ahead of racing rookie and esports specialist Langham. Kate Richardson headed into the battle looking to overturn a 5-second deficit to Lieke Van Zylst, and her recent exploits at the European Track Championships will have aided her cause. Last into action, Van Zylst, like Richardson, a former triathlete in her 2nd year of bike racing, was desperately fighting to keep that magenta jersey. Richardson powered through the puddles to go fastest by less than 0.4 of a second, but would there be a bigger prize? As Van Zylst fought fatigue and lactic acid throughout the lap, Richardson waited to hear her fate. Van Zylst winched herself up the finishing straight to stop the clocks 5 seconds slower than Richardson. As she recovered, the timekeeper scrutinised the fractions to find out who was leading overall. Finally, it was announced that Richardson had moved into the lead by just 13 hundredths of a second, the tiniest of margins after 5 tough stages. It was a 2nd stage win of the week for Richardson and netted the ultimate prize of race leadership heading to stage 6. Leach and Gillespie joined her on the stage winners podium. Amelia Tyler held on to the Kilkenny County Council Best Irish jersey, and it was a full house for Richardson, who could add the young rider mountains and points classification leads to the all-important overall race leaders jersey. The Rainies slightly for the final stage of the week, the now traditional city centre criterium over 18 laps of the familiar 2.1 kilometre circuit at Kilkenny Castle. The remaining riders steeled themselves for one final challenge on roads made treacherous by the persistent rain, and the prospect of one last opportunity for stage glory was sure to keep the pace high. Becky Story of Camsbassa looked on course for the first intermediate sprint bream of the afternoon. The British rider was just one of many to fall foul of the greasy surface, though she was soon back on her bike. With the pressure on, the front group was thinning out in the second half of the stage. Then disaster for Richardson. Her back wheel was clipped by Gillespie and she hit the tarmac at the final bend. She was soon back on her feet, but her bike was damaged. While McChrystal escorted Gillespie back to the sanctuary of the main group, the race leader was in a heightened state of emotion, less than 6 laps from the end of the final stage. She needed to get back in the action before the bunch came around to lap her, and her race leadership hung in the balance. Meanwhile, up front, the race continued and Claire Windsor made a bid to replicate Team Lux's victory on the same stage in 2021. Richardson was finally offered a replacement, and she made her way back to the pits to take her regular spare bike and a free lap out, as per the usual criterium rules. She was back in the main group on her third bike of the stage inside 5 laps to take position on Van Zelst's wheel. Into the final lap, and Maddie Leach made one final bid for stage honours. The Cams Basso squad had been on the podium in all 5 preceding stages, and Leach herself had been 3rd and 2nd in the previous 2. Victory at the final time of asking, by just 3 seconds from Lucy Lee and Tiffany Keep. While safely in the main group was Richardson, taking 9th, and with it the overall title after a big fright. For stage winner Leach, the long-awaited win came when she least expected it.
That wasn't actually the plan. I was going to lead my teammate out, and then somebody sort of attacked with like 3/4 of a lap to go, so I was like, oh, I better chase it down. Looked behind me and no one was there, so I was like, well, might as well see what I can do with this and take it to the finish. But yeah, really happy I could hold on.
Delight for Leach after so many near misses. For Richardson, the overriding emotion was relief.
I would have liked it to have been a bit less drama-free there. I did come down on that corner about 10 minutes from the finish, but thankfully someone gave me their bike and I managed to get round to the pits and then get my spare bike and yeah, just finished it off there. It's just quite slippy because the weather's been so bad, and I think someone just clipped the back of my wheel. So I was actually all right. I've just got a wee graze, but I slid quite far, but yeah, no, I'll be fine. Yeah, I was quite panicky. I wish I was a bit cool, calm and collected, but yeah, it's all fine in the end. I mean, I knew it was a big ask in that TT, so I just gave it everything, so I was really delighted to do it there. It would have been quite hard to make up 5 seconds in a crit. So yeah, it was just about staying safe today, and I didn't quite do that as well as I'd hoped to, but yeah, it was all fine in the end. Yeah, I mean, this is such a big race. This has been a big goal of mine this year. We were discussing it last year that this would be one of our key events, so yeah, I mean, it couldn't have gone much better for me this week, so yeah, I'm delighted.
So Maddie Leach finally mounts the top step of the podium on the final day, to be joined by Lucy Lee and Tiffany Keep of Team LDN Brother UK. Newtonard's Amelia Tyler was confirmed as the winner of the Kilkenny County Council green jersey for Best Irish Rider. And she joined her Cycling Ulster colleagues on the Best Irish Team podium. While Cams Basso's strength and depth was rewarded with victory in the overall teams competition. For Richardson, the week was a remarkable success. 2 stage wins and victory in the Women's Cycling Ireland Young Rider Classification, the IBCA Wicklow 200 Queen of the Mountains crown, and the Sport Ireland points classifications, adding to her haul. But it was the overall success which mattered most. She collected the final magenta jersey and joined Nika Van Zelst and Becky Storey on the final winners' podium.
Well, the weather, the roads and the multinational peloton helped to deliver another epic encounter on the roads of Ireland's ancient East. It was victory for Kate Richardson, and all the riders who faced down the challenge and brought home a finisher's medal can now celebrate. Thanks a million for watching. Slán go fóill.